Hello everyone, it's Brett here, Lionheart84, and I've had only had a few Asian pears growing on my tree this year, and they've dropped prematurely, or most of them have. I think there's a couple on the tree still, but they're not going to make it to full size. So I was just going to have a quick look at the reasons for premature ripening and fruit drop on these sort of fruits. It's common with apples and pears as well, because actually the fruit almost look ripe. I'm actually going to taste them, or the bits that are safe to taste, just to see if there's any sort of sweetness in them. But these obviously shouldn't really be ripe here until September, and we're only filming this in the end of the second week of August, so these definitely shouldn't be ready. Now the evidence is probably quite clear to see if you look at them closely. You won't be necessarily see on here, but there's a lot of substance that's probably the dirts from maggots and things that are being pushed out of both the top of the apple, pear, and the bottom of the pear. Now you can also see these bruises and holes on the side, and this one's got holes in the top as well. So what has happened is some unpleasant little character has come along. I'm going to cut these in half and laid eggs on them when they were developing as green fruits, and the maggot or bug, as you can see, has developed inside the core of the fruit, and unfortunately what that does is it causes the fruit to ripen and drop prematurely. So when you see a lot of windfall apples, on the floor under trees, it can be caused by obviously extreme weather conditions, too much rain, too little rain, particularly cold or windy, or too hot. But also invariably if you cut them open, they've got this problem inside. Now I did bag these, but I didn't think there was any need to bag them as small green embryo fruits, and I think I should have done, because that probably would have stopped whatever moth or insect laid its eggs. I'm sure if we cut this other slightly bigger one open, it's going to look exactly the same in the middle. So we'll have a look, see. Yeah, exactly the same, badge in the middle. Now if you're really desperate to sort of try one of these, there's absolutely no reason why you couldn't cut off the good parts like this, which would be perfectly edible. Let's just see. Yeah, it's ripened prematurely. I'm not going to fuss too much about. I'll just cut a couple of bits off, because obviously you can obviously cut off the clean bits that have had no bug in them. The maggots feed off the centre of the core, unfortunately, but actually this bit is ripened quite well. Because it's come off prematurely, it hasn't got the sweetness it would develop over the next 3 or 4 weeks, but it's still sweet, but it hasn't reached the sort of peak that you'd get. This is actually Shinziki, this one. But both the fruits are edible, but in practice you'd normally throw them on the compost heap. But for the purposes of the video, I wanted to show why these fruits unfortunately have dropped off prematurely. It's unlikely the larvae are still in there. They've probably escaped out through the hole at the top when they were ready to hatch. I would imagine it'll be a moth of some sort. But needless to say, those bits are edible. No free meat in those bits. But I think you can probably spray for those bugs early in the season. I'm not 100% sure, I've never really looked into it. It's the first year actually that I've had that problem with them. I suspect something to do with the particular climate we've had this season, and those sort of things happen sometimes. But anyway, it's a shame. There were only four or five fruits developing on the tree. It needs to go into a much bigger pot, and then hopefully it will fruit better next year. I'll have to look at means of possibly stop this problem from repeating itself, because it's fine if you've got 50 or 60 fruits on a tree and this happens to a dozen of them, you're not going to worry. But if you've got 3 or 4 and they all end up like this, it's obviously it's a great pity to be wasting them. Anyway, thanks for watching the video. I hope that proved useful to someone who might want to wonder why their fruits drop prematurely on their apple pip fruit trees, such as apples, pears, Asian pears. Can happen to plums, apricots as well. If they drop prematurely, you'll often find they've got little bugs, larvae and grubs inside them. So please give me a thumbs up. Welcome to share the video if you think it's useful to anybody. Please subscribe to my channel and click on the bell if you'd like updates on when new videos come out. I will catch up with you on the next video. Brett out for now.